There's really no respite for you when you're fighting at this level. Hey, you just came through a war with Edson Barbosa, and now this is not going to be easy for either of you, right? This is probably going to be everyone's saying fight of the night. Is that what you love about the sport, especially at this level, the level of competition?
Yeah, when you get in the top 15 in the lightweight division in the UFC, I mean, really any top 15 in the UFC, but particularly ours, it's just stacked. I mean, guys that aren't even ranked are absolute killers in this division. So at this point, I'd rather be fighting these guys and moving up towards the title shot than fight another guy who's just as dangerous and isn't ranked. So taking on a guy like Dan Hooker who's on a win streak and just absolutely killing it, that's what I want. That's what's going to really catapult one of us towards the top three, and that's where we're sitting in our careers. Is we need that performance or that moment, and we need the spotlight to kind of really push us towards that. Right, getting this main event for one of us is going to be the catalyst to kind of give us that opportunity to call out the bigger names.
Where do you feel you have the advantage over him? Were you impressed with his past couple of performances that led him here to you, to this main event?
Yeah, I am. I was very impressed with all of his fights. Even Edson, I can appreciate how tough he showed himself in that fight. Um, but I just feel like I'm cut from a crazy different cloth than a lot of people, and you don't realize it when you talk to me. You don't know it when you sit down with me, but when I get in there, just something pushes me through stuff that other people don't seem to be able to handle. And I showed that in my last fight. I showed it in my first fight with Edson. I fought with a snapped forearm, you know what I mean, and almost pulled off a split decision. So these gritty, bloody battles are what I come to expect. My team knows it. I pack my bag before I leave so that I don't have to do it while I'm injured. I won't let anybody post about an after party before I go to fight night because I don't know if there's going to be an after party. I don't assume that I'm going to be going out. I don't tell anybody what we're doing. I assume that I'm going to be in the hospital, and that's win or lose.
Is it strange for you or surreal at times because you're so embedded now as an analyst, as a commentator, and you've interviewed Dan in the cage before, and is it strange for you? You almost see your fight from an outside perspective. Like, how would you see this fight if you're analyzing it?
Yeah, it's funny. I get asked that constantly, and I don't think of it like that. As a matter of fact, I do very little like crazy game planning or worrying about that things. I leave a lot of that, and you've heard this from a lot of fighters. I leave a lot of that to my coaches because they're better at it, and they can take themselves out of it. I can do that when I'm watching other fighters fight and I'm breaking down their footage for commentary. When I'm the guy in there, I can't think like that. For me, it's just I'm better than you everywhere. I'm going to beat your ass everywhere. So I let my coaches run the strategy. I watch his fights. I've watched all Dan's fights. I know how he fights. I know where his timing, and I know where he's good. I know where maybe he's a little weaker. But I definitely don't sit back in it. Even people are like, "Where are you better than him at?" I'm like, I don't know. Ask Duke. I don't know. I'm just going to go in there and try to break every bone I can. You know what I mean? And we'll see what happens.
Do you see this being a high-level striking affair? Do you see it for the majority staying on the feet?
Yeah, of course. I mean that's what I assume, but I've done just as much of everything else as well, and I'm sure he has too. You never know. You get clipped with a punch, or you slip on the a piece of blood that you just splatter on the floor, and you end up on your back, and suddenly you're doing jujitsu, and you didn't think you were going to be doing jujitsu. Or your leg starts hurting, so you start shooting single legs. You want to get it to the ground. You don't know, but I do see it mainly playing out as a kickboxing match. Yeah.